Hey crafters, Lisa here from Fun Stuff Crafts. So glad you could join me for another Inspiration Friday. So this is going to be the third in some of my new craft room crafts that I'm doing as I get my craft room all set and ready to go. So I can't wait to show you my hack on making a poster look like a canvas. But before we get to working on that, I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by if you're new to my channel. My channel is all about inspiring people to learn to create things. And I do lots of tutorials. I try to do an Inspiration Friday every Friday. So I hope you stick around so I can show you how to make a poster look like a canvas. And if you could, would you subscribe to my channel and click on the bell, and YouTube will alert you each time I upload a new video. So give me a second, I'll get my camera angle changed and we will get making. Hey crafters, let's get started on my take on changing a poster and making it look like a canvas print. So I am starting out with my logo. So I went and just uploaded a picture of my logo to Walmart and I got this printed. This is the most expensive part of this project. So this was about $18 to get it printed because I wanted the 20 by 30 size. Okay, lots of different options for places that you guys can get a poster printed. Or maybe you've already got a poster. I originally wanted to do a canvas in here, but you know, canvases cost anywhere upwards of $60 or $70 to get done. So I thought, why not try to make my poster look like a canvas print? So the first thing I did is I did choose a matte finish. So when I uploaded this, the options were a gloss finish or a matte finish. So I did choose a matte finish. Okay, so I've got the poster. Then what I got to thinking is, how would I make the frame that actually looks like it's out from the wall? Kind of like a canvas is, right? So I picked up this wood. Actually, I should say I picked it up. I went out and found it in the garage. My husband had some. And this is a 1x2. If you actually measure it though, and this is what I think is so interesting, it's actually a 1 by 1.5. Okay, so what I did is I took the wood and I've already went outside and cut it. Okay, so it's already pre-cut. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a frame and I wanted to put my poster right on top of it. Okay, and so one of the key things that we're going to do is we're going to put together our frame. And then what I want to do is you can either use a spray paint, and I stayed with a matte finish. You can either spray paint or you can use a paintbrush, and I've got some acrylic paint, white paint. So the key on the painting is whatever color your poster is on the edge is what color you want the edge of your frame. Okay, think about how a canvas is, and a canvas wraps around, right? So I'm not going to wrap my poster around, but what I want to do, and I've already painted this one, I have painted this white so that when my poster lays on it, right, my poster is going to show and there's going to be white right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my frame together. And like I said, I did give it a quick coat outside the board with white spray paint, but it didn't quite take as much as I want. So what I thought I would do now is I'm going to go ahead and use some wood glue and my staple gun, and we're going to attach the wood. But let's talk about how I measured it, okay? So what I did is I measured the length of my poster is 30 inches, okay? So these two boards are 30 inches. And I wanted the inside board, or the length of this board, this frame, to fit inside of those, right? I didn't want to mess with having to do right angles or anything like that. And so what I've done is I measured the length of my poster is 20 inches, right? But since this board is 1.5 inches and this one is 1.5 inches, I had to subtract 3 inches, okay? So these are both cut at 17 inches. So I've got 2 cut at 30 and 2 cut at 17, okay? So I did, like I said, I did already go out with the spray paint and just spray paint the outer edge. That's all that's going to be showing is your edge. I am going to do a touch-up once I get this put together though. Okay, so I've got my wood glue, and like I said, I've got a couple different types of wood glue. I've got a Gorilla wood glue, and then I've got some of this Aleene's wood glue. So we're going to go ahead and go with the Aleene's, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue at the end. Okay, and then we're going to do that on both ends. And the one thing I like to make sure I'm doing is I want to use my staple gun to give me a little bit added adherence, okay? So I'm going to push those together as close as I can, and before I go on to the next side, I'm going to grab my staple gun and I am going to staple those down, okay? That is really going to help make sure that glue adheres really well, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Can't wait to see what this looks like. I had a picture of my logo in my old craft room, but it had a real glare to it, and so I couldn't always have it show up like in my videos and stuff. So I'm really anxious to see how good this one turns out for me. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and then I will add some more paint on it, okay? So I'm very carefully going to lift this up though, and I want to add staples on both sides, okay? So that way I know that it's going to stay nice and secure. The other thing you want to make sure you do is you want your sides to be really flat, okay? Because those are what's going to show, you know, and really it's going to be these sides that are going to be showing the most. And the bottom. The top you're probably not going to see at all, depending on where you end up laying this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my glue dry. As soon as my glue is dry, I'm going to grab some sandpaper and I'm going to sand the edges a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more white paint on. So I'll join you right back as soon as my glue is dry. Okay, so my glue is pretty well dry, and I just pick up these little sanding blocks at Harbor Freight. And I just like to have them on hand. And all I'm really worried about is the edges. And so all I'm going to do is just smooth it with the sanding block. And those sides are really good. It's really the edges where those two pieces are coming together. So just want to make sure that that's nice and smooth. I think I've got a good smooth finish on it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some of this, and this is Folk Art acrylic paint. It's wicker white is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to use a foam brush. Before I do that though, a little bit of remnants of my sanding. Get that out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my foam brush, and I just put a little bit of paint down on just a piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to give this another nice coat. And again, whatever color your poster is on the edge is the color you want to be painting this with, okay? Because really this is the only part that is going to show. because the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take some double-sided tape and we are going to attach our poster. Now you could use glue if you wanted to. I just find that the double-sided tape really adheres really well. And sometimes if you use glue, what I've seen is you can kind of see the glue through the poster. And so, like I said, my success has been with using the glue. Excuse me, using the tape. I'm just not having a good time talking today. Again, I'm not worried about putting any paint on the top because you're not going to see it. Your poster is going to be covering it. So just the sides of your boards and just really get them good. You could leave them plain, but my whole idea on this, what I call a canvas half, is to make it look like it was a canvas. And so that's why I really want to make sure that I get it covered really well. Now, in hindsight, I may have, could have, I guess I could say, make the sides be the continuous and not the top, just because I've got that, you know, the board, how it's meeting. But I was going to have it happen one way or the other, so I think I'm really excited to see how this turns out and what it looks like hanging on my wall. I've got the perfect place for it here in my new craft room, so really anxious to see how it all turns out. So I think I've got a good paint on my edge. I'm just going to double check all the way around, making sure that I've got a good coat of my paint. And those edges where the wood comes together is where you really want to make sure that you're getting your paint in there really good. Like I said, that's the part that's going to show. Looks good, and it looks good. Okay, we're going to let this dry. This acrylic paint doesn't take long at all to dry, and through the magic of camera, I will be right back with you guys, and we're going to finish this project off. So, be right back with you. Okay, so I am back, and we are ready to put on our poster onto our frame. Now, I have this double-sided tape on hand. You can use any type of double-sided tape that you'd like, but, and I cannot even pronounce this, it's Sukwong, and I will put the link down below. I use it when I make my binders. It is such a nice, good, strong adhesive tape, and it comes in different widths. So I've got a little bit left of the larger width, and so I'm going to start with that, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to go to the smaller width. But what the whole idea here, you guys, is you want to cover your whole area. And really important that we're getting out right on the edge, because I really want that edge to stick down. I don't want to have any chance that you guys would be able to see that this is not a canvas print, right? So I want it as close to the edge as possible, okay? And so I've got that piece down, and then I'm going to bring up my, this is got a nice cover on it, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the cover if it's going to cooperate with me. So I'm going to take that off, right? Because I want to match up my corners really good, and I knew I was going to run out of this this type of tape, or this width. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure that up right like that, get it really close to the edge, you guys. And then as I do it, I just like to bring up that cover, because in some cases I want it to meet so close that I layer it just a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, and I'll just go ahead with the smaller width here. I may double up some of this a little bit, just so I can make sure I get a good adherence on it. Again, like I said, you guys, if you guys want to use glue on this, you definitely could. I just find using the tape when I'm doing something like this, one, I can really guide this along the sides really well to make sure that it's right up to it. There's no chance of anything glue leaking through. And sometimes when you use a glue, it's kind of got like a, I don't know, you can feel it, right? And so this is such a thin tape. And I'm going to turn that around just so I can get a better look. And you guys have noticed as I've been working on this project, I've got my workspace covered. This is one of my new craft tables, and so I didn't want to take a chance of having any paint on it. So I have a roll of paper that I just have handy all the time that I can cover my workspace, and it works out great. Okay. I think we have got a good layering of this tape all the way around. Once I get this one off, I think I'm going to decide if I want to add a little bit more, since this tape is thinner than that first layer that I started with. But all the way around the edges, and I think I'm going to, just to be safe, I don't want to take a chance of this coming off, right? I'm not necessarily going to worry about getting all the way to the edges on this second pass, because it's on the inside. That outside edge was a really important edge to make sure that we had covered all the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove these. We're going to put our poster on our frame, and then we're going to hang it up, and I'll let you guys be the judge if it is a good hack on turning a poster into a canvas finish. Because I'll tell you, if you like this idea, you guys, it's a whole lot cheaper than the canvases. Although, I have to admit, I absolutely love the canvases. I've got canvases hanging in my living room with our family pictures. Absolutely love them. I was just trying to go a little bit more on a budget here in the craft room. Okay, you guys, here we go. Now, this tape is not forgiving, right? So I want to make sure that I have this lined up exactly right when I go to lay it down. Okay, so I want to get right on my edges. A little nervous, you guys. I want to make sure that it's right on the edges. Very slowly I'm doing it. I said it's not really forgiving. Okay. Whoops. So what do you guys think? Well, I've got it done. I've got the sides here. What do you guys think? I'm going to go hang it up on the wall, and you guys be the judge if this is a good hack or not. And here's our finished product up on the wall. Thanks so much for joining me for another Inspiration Friday. I hope you liked this project on my hack on turning a poster into a canvas print. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell to be reminded each time I upload a new video. If you have any questions, please add a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And also, don't forget to check out my blog at funstuffcrafts.com for other DIY projects.